of things going on at the same time where I decided that I could not serve my constituents to the fullest if I'm having all of these things going on. So, I decided to resign, and it was so many tensions. One of the biggest things why I decided to resign was because people weren't showing up to meetings. And I'm not saying everyone, but some people, and they would say that they had an excuse or, a legitimate reason not to come to meetings. But if you're going 2-3 months without coming to a meeting, and you're getting paid weekly, one, you're taking the taxpayers' money. Two, that's a seat that someone else who wants to do the work can take that seat, because that seat does not belong to me or any of those people serving on the school committee. This type of job that some politicians consider is not, promised. It's not, and that's what a lot of these politicians need to understand. They stay in office for 10, 20, 30 years, and they maintain, and they're categorized in this group of, I call them the status quo, people who, they stick together. They're the old schoolers, not to point out by age or anything, but they're the old schoolers who, who need to give other people a chance. They just can't stay in these elected positions for so long. Again, it's not promised. It's not their seat. And that was one thing that a lot of these, that a lot of elected officials think. It's, they get used to being in an elected position for far too long. And then when you see a progressive, strong candidate like Damali Vido, who I'm going to give a shout out. Damali Vido is
Damali Vido, ladies and gentlemen.
Damali Vido is currently one of our counselors at large in the city of Chelsea, and she is running for the 2nd Suffolk district of Massachusetts, which represents Chelsea and Charlestown. Damali is actually the one who she was like the rocket for me to run.
She rocket strapped you, bro.
She was like, I know you can do this. You're young, but that shouldn't let you, not want to get where you want to get. So Damali right now, she's running against State Representative Daniel Ryan. And, we need change in Chelsea. We've never had a woman representing us at Beacon Hill for the state House of Representatives. And we've never had a Latino or a Latina serving in that position. So, I think during these times, what we need, is getting people, progressive candidates, to get out, poll papers, and run for these positions where you have a lot of these people serving for years and years and years and aren't doing anything for the community. They just get out, they go to their meetings, they vote yes, go back home.
It's unfair, man. Sorry, I was gonna say it's unfair. No, my boss now, the reason why I respect him so much is because he sat me down. He was like, some people in this business are gonna want to stay on top as long as they can, and they're gonna squash anybody that they can squash. But then he's like, that's just the wrong way to manage, bro. It's just the wrong way to have that stature, bro. He says you're trying to build someone to have your job one day. That's the goal. The goal is not for you to keep your job as long as you can. It's for you to build people under you for one day to have your job and do it better. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
And that's something that hit me when you were saying these, I don't want old timers, you know what I'm saying? That just want to have the position and just stay there. It's sad to see because when we want change, sometimes, a different face or a different, style of doing things really helps the world, bro. Helps the world change, bro.
I actually I took a politics class this past semester, right? And I didn't know anything about politics. Literally, I didn't even know technically, I guess a mayor is I didn't know a mayor was part of government, I guess. I didn't even know that. But now I know that it all works together, one thing. So one thing I did notice is that how people in the House of Representatives, they can be in as many times as they want, right? They can just keep going and going and going.
Senators too.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and it was a question because obviously we have presidents now that are in office for 8 years max, and then they can't go again. One of the questions that I got asked in my class was, should there be a limit on what a House Representative or Senate or anybody in Congress should there be a limit as to how long they can be in office? Do you think that they should be?
I do believe in term limits. I'm someone who strongly advocates for term limits. Let's say I'm a representative going for 8 years. I think sometimes it's just, like I said, people just get used to being in this position, but term limits are important. We have the only office that I believe has term limits is the presidency. But when you look at senators, when you look at congressmen, when you look at state senators within a state and state representatives within a state, when you look at councilmen and people who are serving in the town hall, there is no term limits. There's a city councilor in Chelsea who's been serving since the 70s, believe it or not.
That's insane.
As an alderman and then to a city councilor, and not to bash on him, because I think he's a great guy. I respect him a lot, but I do believe that we need a change. We cannot have these people that have been holding office for 30, 20 years stay there for too long, because they won't be the one. They will be the ones dictating our future. They won't be here 30, 40 years from now. We will, though. That's why I do believe that it is imperative for people, who are progressive, who believe in the idea of, advocating for their community, to run for office.